So, modern control type. Like I said, I've already gone through this. Modern control type is essentially easy mode. People who are new, trying to get into the game and learn the game. Now let's take a closer look at this. What you have is light attack, medium attack, and heavy attack. You don't have like, they don't specify punch or kick. So I imagine what happens here is you either just don't have access to all your normals or it's just completely random, right? Like if you press light here, you either get light punch or light kick. If you press medium, you either get medium punch or medium kick. If you press heavy, you either get heavy punch or heavy kick. Essentially, the drawback here, what's happening is that you don't have like complete control over your character. And you have a special move button for your special moves. Now this, if I do controller, like people are going to be screenshotting this, right? I can already, I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah, people are going to screenshot this shit and they're going to be fucking making fun of goddamn Street Fighter. This is going to be a goddamn meme. And I see this screen and I'm like, this is either the beginning of something great or the beginning of the end, right? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this specifically. I'm afraid, but I'm hopeful. Hado with a single button until you find out it's just light Hado every time. You're right though, I didn't notice that, but yeah, you can't even select which special move you're doing, right? So not only can't you select whether you get light punch or light kick or like punches or kicks, right? It's just random from what I would assume here. You also don't get to pick what level of special move you're doing, and I would assume it's light. It's probably the worst version. Because essentially what I'm gathering from this is either light or random. What I'm gathering from this is that this is here to make good, like, new players feel better about themselves. And if it is only light DP, then that would mitigate the problem of people just being able to DP everything on reaction. I cannot see this being the slightest competitive. Like, what if the pros, like, outweigh the cons? And I would like to believe that that won't happen, and Capcom really put a lot of thought into this, but this is a touchy thing. This is a very touchy change, touchy thing that they're doing. I think Capcom had to do this if they really wanted to get new players into the game, because a lot of new fighting game players, the main thing they complain about is motion inputs. That's like the big thing people complain about is motion inputs. And we had something like this actually in Guilty Gear Xrd. For those who don't know, there was a stylish mode where you had like a special input button and shit, but you were limited with your character, and it was not the greatest, but it helped people get into the game, and this is kind of similar to that, and it did well in Xrd, so I'm hopeful. So yeah, this is really just a system to get new people into the game. Once people want to take the game seriously, that's where they're going to be going for the classic controller type, and this is where you will truly be unlocking your character, unlocking all of the shit that you can do, having full control over everything, right? You get your classic Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5 layout that you expect to see here. Xbox, PC, PlayStation. So I was initially very concerned about this, but you know, after further inspection, I think it'll be perfectly fine. And I think this is actually a good thing because it will draw more players into the game, right? Especially those players who are very casually getting the game. Let's say you're getting the game and you just want to play the story mode, right? This is going to be really good for players like that because the story mode looks a lot more fleshed out. It's like this overworld thing, this overworld GTA type of thing where you can run around and do whatever you want. And for those who just want to do that and have fun or just play this game with friends and have a good time and don't want to learn motion inputs and don't want to have execution, nothing like that, this is great for those people. Those people are going to eat this up. They're going to love this shit, right? They are going to love this shit, and I think that this alone is going to essentially help draw a lot of new players into the game. And as I said, once you hook them, right? Once they take the bait and they actually are like, they're like, huh, I really like this game. Then they find out about the classic control type, and that's where they actually start playing Street Fighter, right? That's where they actually get into the game. So we'll see how it goes, but I like what Capcom is doing here, trying to draw new players into the game and all that. I think this is a good thing, absolutely. And I believe that if this thing here, this modern control type, does end up being too good, I would like to believe that Capcom would nerf it anyways.